you know where to find the lecture notes, right? So how is the sound? Let me see. Is it too loud? A little bit. Okay. So now let's start. I will do this. Okay, everybody, introduction. This is the chapter 1, right? This is chapter 1, not the chapter 1. So in this chapter, we are going to do all this. I will let you read. And if you have questions, just let me know, okay? We will look at the Java programming language. This class is in Java, obviously. And we will actually write programs and compile and execute. Okay, so you as a student, you all know that the most useful skill is critical thinking skill, right? That's why your instructors and your mentors keep saying you have to think critically, critical thinking. Critical thinking is really key to solve problems. And programming classes are really to train your critical thinking skills, because you are given a problem and you need to be able to understand it, analyze it, and then find a solution. That is critical thinking. Finding the solution is critical thinking. Okay, so this is what the programming classes are. So programming students, computer science students are always very logical. They always have a rationale behind what they do because they think critically. So taking this class is really good for you, even if you do not continue with computer science. Just know that. Okay, so we are here to solve problems and the process and what object-oriented principles are. We will briefly touch upon that because that is really not the goal of this class. That is the goal of the second class, object-oriented programming. Okay, Java, I will let you read this and I will ask you questions. Okay, so anything that is running on the computer is a program. So, and what is a program? It's a series of instructions, okay? That's what we are going to write. And programs sometimes are called, they are called instructions, applications, because they are useful, they are being used. So software actually has two categories. One is application, one is system. System is operating system. That is system software. Okay. Java. So hopefully you have read this. Java. What is Java? Tell me.
A language?
A language, a programming language. So Java is a programming language. Okay. And what is a language composed of? Even everyday language. English, what is it composed of?
Characters.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Characters, letters, numbers.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
Symbols.
Symbols. Okay. Characters, symbols.
Words. Well, I guess in a sort of sense.
Okay. More abstractly, a language composed of words, right? And symbols. So words and symbols. Letters, yes, words are composed of letters, right? But if we go to a little bit higher level, then a language is composed of words. And more importantly, how you arrange to make a meaning out of those words. What do you call that?
Grammar.
I'm sorry?
Grammar.
Grammar, yes, yes. Grammar, syntax, right? So a programming language is composed of words, symbols, and the way you arrange them to make meaning, to make it meaningful, to make it understandable. And programming language is to make it executable. That means the computer will understand it. So programming language, to be good at programming language, you must be able to remember the words, right? And you must also abide the syntax rules. That's very important. That's how you write programs. You must remember the specific terms. And so if you say, oh, I understand it, I don't remember the terminology, that's not okay. You have to be able to remember because it's composed of words. Just like when you start English, you have to write the vocabulary one by one to remember them, how to spell them. In Java, in any programming language, you have to do the same. You have to remember the spelling of the words. If you spell it differently, then it's another meaning or the computer doesn't understand it. You also have to remember the syntax. Just like in English, you have to remember subject, verb, and object, right? Adverbs, adjectives, you have to remember where to place them to make it meaningful. In Java, it's the same thing. You have to remember, oh, you know these terminologies, you know these words. How do you arrange them so that the computer understands them? That is a programming language. So you have to be able to be detail-oriented. It's very detail-oriented. When you do your lab, you will see if you misspell one word, if you fill in an empty space, you will not be correct. The system will say you did it wrong. So it's very picky programming at the beginning. Before you become proficient, you will feel it's very tedious actually because you're writing, right? And it's very detail oriented. Just keep those words in mind, everybody, okay? So that you know you're prepared. Any other questions? And any questions? You didn't ask questions. Any questions? So, right here is what I said. So that is Java. Java is the programming language. Do you know any other programming languages, everybody?
Python.
Python and C, C++, right? And the C#. A lot, there are so many. Actually, each different vendor almost has their own language. For example, Apple has their Swift language to write apps. But here is the thing. If you can learn one language and learn it well and become proficient, it's super easy to learn another language. So if you learn Java and you know it, you understand it, then you go and learn C# or C++ or Python. It becomes very, very easy. That's called extension. You can extend the knowledge to other languages very, very easily. Kevin, question?
Yes, ma'am. You said in our first class that if you took Python and tried to learn Java, it'd be difficult. Based on what you're saying here, why is that?
Why? Because Java, it's object-oriented. Okay, and it's more strict. It's very Java and C and C++. Java and C++ are very strict languages. They are strong typed. That means every piece of data has a data type. And it's strongly typed. It has strict rules. It's not that you can do this, you can also do that. It has strict rules and it's completely object-oriented. While in Python, Python is more of a scripting language. That means you can write one statement and then it can run. In Java, no, you have to always write a complete program. And so in Python, the object orientation part is not playing a very important role, while in Java, it's completely object-oriented. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, good. Object-oriented, this concept is not easy to understand. That's why in class 2, we actually completely focus on that part. If you learn the object-oriented programming language, you go back to procedural language, it's easy, okay? But if you learn procedural language and you come to object-oriented language, which is very abstract, it's difficult. It's very difficult. It's just difficult to grasp those concepts. Okay, good. Any other questions, everybody? Okay. The Java program structure. So here is a very important thing to remember. Okay, in Java programming language, a program. What is a program? It's a series of instructions, right? In Java, every program is made up of one or more classes. You see, classes, you didn't know about that, right? And we are not going to specify that as much because class is an object-oriented terminology, and we are not going to discuss that as much in this class. So a program is, and you will see that once we begin to write. A program is made up of one or more classes. So at least one. That means each program is at least one class. Okay. And what is a class? A class contains one or more methods. A method contains program statements. A statement is a high-level instruction or a set of instructions. Because if you go back to the bottom, to the machine language, it might be several instructions. Okay, so you don't have to concern yourself with that. Just know a statement is a line of code, and that is called a statement. Okay, so let's look at a program so that you understand it. So here you must remember this also. A Java application always contains a method called the main, because main is the entry point. That's where the program begins to execute. Some of you may be familiar with the operating system, how it works, right? Operating system, Windows 10, manages the whole computer. It allows programs to run. So when a program runs in Java application, where does it start? It starts at main. That's why it says a Java application always contains a method called main. If you don't have that method, the operating system doesn't know where to start to run your program. So you have to have the main, and that is once again the entry point. Let's look at this program. The program name is called Lincoln, okay? And this is the extension of a Java file. If to be more exact, a Java class, okay? So remember, every program is made up of one or more classes. So in this case, we have one class. So this is the class name, and this is the extension .java, okay? So here is a program. You look at it. I know some of you have Java background. I know that. So you look at this and you will see, oh, this is so easy. Let me stop this recording. I want to ask you, how many of you have Java background? Okay. Okay, so now let's look at this program. It's a program. It's very short and sweet, but it's a program. Okay. If you look at this, I'm going to explain this, everybody. Okay. This is called comments. This is a very beautifully formatted comment. Actually, this itself is a comment. So just 2 forward slashes, and then whatever you want to say. Comment is to explain your program. That's why we say it's comment, right? Another terminology is documentation. That means you document, you explain what you are doing in your program. And here, this is a header for the program, right? And the user, the author, just make it prettier by using this format, this frame. So comments are ignored by the system. The system doesn't even look at it. As soon as it sees the 2 forward slashes, it says, oh, it's not important. I'm not going to even bother. Okay, so the system doesn't execute this at all. This is the program. This is the class. Let's look at this class, okay? And what is this, everybody? What are these?
Those are comments.
Comments, very good. Those are comments, okay. And does the system ignore them?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. So they don't count. They are not part of the program. They are part of your file, but they are not part of the program because the system ignores them. Okay. So when you write a program, remember, what is a program? A program is tell me, what is a program in Java?
A set of instructions.
Yes, in Java, a program is composed of what?
A set of instructions.
Classes.
Class,
Oh,
right? A program is composed of one or more classes. So here, this is a program and this is a class. This is a keyword, public. That means everybody can see it. Okay. And class, this is denoting that this is a class, right? So that's the keyword. And the blue tells you they are keywords. Okay. This is the class name. You can call it anything, but it must be meaningful. So this is the name of the class. This is the keyword denoting this is a class. And public is telling everybody in the system that this is public. Everybody can see it, access it. Okay. So after that, I need to, okay. I need to erase everything. So let me erase everything first. Okay. And then you must, after this is called the class header, everybody, the class header. Sometimes I find that students don't understand my pronunciation. By the way, I am originally from China. So when I pronounce something, you might not understand and just tell me, okay. So header, that's the class header, okay. After the class header, this is called the body, and the body is made of these curly braces. So whatever inside the curly braces is the body of the class. And what is a class, everybody? What is a class composed of?
Methods.
Methods. Very good, methods. And what is a method composed of? Statements. Very good. Okay, so here is the method. And this method is public. Everybody can see it. The system, your operating system can see it. And you don't have to worry about this. We discussed that really later. Void, that's the return type. It means it doesn't return anything. And main is the method name. Remember, every application must have a main method. And this is the main method, okay, main. And this you must have, that's called the parameter, string. And then you have this square brackets. And currently there is no space, but if you have a space there, that's okay. And this, you must have a space. You see how detailed it is. You must have space there. And this is the name of the argument. And all this is within this parenthesis. So very detailed, that's the syntax, the rules. And this curly brace tells you this is the method body, okay? And what do you think this is? A method is composed of what?
Statements.
Statements, and this is called everybody, what is this called?
Line of code.
Statement.
I'm sorry, statement, yes. This is called a statement, right? It is a line of code and the terminology is statement. So this is a statement. Okay. Okay, so that is the explanation of this program. Any questions, everybody? Now you look at this, is it that foreign? Maybe not, right? You understand, oh, this is the class header. This is the method header. And these are the statements. This tells you the class begins. This tells you the class ends. This tells you the method begins. This tells you the method ends. And within the method body, you have two statements, 1, 2. And each statement must end with a semicolon. Those are the details. Okay, and when you run this program, what happens? This is the output here. Okay, so here I'm giving you the detailed explanation. I already explained that, so I'm going to go on, right? I explained all that. You can look at that. Okay, comments. We discussed comments already. This is one way of doing the comments. Okay, the forward slashes. But if you have multiple lines of comments, instead of doing this again and again, instead of doing this, you can use this syntax. Start with this forward slash and a star, and end it with a star and forward slash. So that's the syntax for comment. Comments should be included to explain the purpose of the program and describe the processing steps. They should be insightful, not verbose. Okay. Don't write comments for each line of code. It's absolutely not necessary. So you want to explain a chunk of code, a segment of code. Okay. They do not accept how a program works. They are for human documentation only. The compiler ignores any comments. Okay, any questions?
What's
Okay.
a compiler?
What's a compiler? We will discuss that later on. But just so that you know, a compiler is a program, okay? It will look at your code. This is your code, right? It will look at your code and see, did you comply with all the grammatical rules? If you did, okay, I'm glad. I'm going to translate you into machine language. If you did not, I will not be able to translate. I will say, no, you are not okay because you have grammatical errors. That is a compiler. So a compiler has two functions. One, it checks your grammar, your syntax. If you have errors, it stops. It tells you you have errors. If you don't have errors, it will translate your program into binary machine code, and your computer will be able to execute. Okay, that's a compiler. Okay.
Not to dive too deep into this, but what if there is a grammatical error, but it's supposed to be like that? Is there a way to override it?
There is never going to be a scenario like that. If you have a grammatical error, if I understood you correctly, if you have a grammatical error, it will not override it. It will stop. It will tell you, fix it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Like I'm not fully understand, or I don't fully know what could go in the comment. So I'm thinking along the lines like if it's a name and you spelt with an S instead of a C, is it going to say, oh, that's?
Oh, the name. Okay, that's very subjective. If you spelled S with a C, then this compiler will think that's your intention. It is a C. But subsequently, when you use that name, you instead of that S, you have to be consistent. If you name something, using C, blah, 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 then later on in your program, you always have to use C, blah, blah, blah. You cannot change. If that answers you. I don't know if that answered your question though.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, so for example, you may say, what is a syntax error? This, if you don't have this, that is a syntax error. The system will not compile. If you don't have this, that will be a syntax error. The system will not compile. Okay. If you don't have this, it will not compile. Okay, good. Any other questions? If you have questions, just ask. So let's run that program using Eclipse. How about that? Okay, so let's start Eclipse. I'm sure you all have downloaded, have you? Yes or no?
Yes.
Let me pause. Okay, everybody, this is the Eclipse. I do have a video. I think this, when you launch it, it asks you to specify a workspace. I think you can browse and specify. I think I have that in my video, so I don't need to discuss that. Okay, so let's create a project. I also have a video for this, but I'm going to do this. You know, you are in class, let's do this. Okay, go to file. Oh, right now let's go to file first. Go to file, go to new. Oops. And Java project. Make sure you do Java project, not just project, okay? So Java project. And let's give it a name. This is basically a folder, so you can give it a name with space. My first Java project, okay? And you just leave everything else as is, and you should be able to see what you have downloaded there, okay? So finish, everybody. You can uncheck this, create module information. You can uncheck that. We don't need that right here. Okay, uncheck it. So my first Java project is the project name. And here you can actually also change your location. My default location is my desktop. You can uncheck that. And now you can find your location actually. Okay, so you can do that also. I'm just, every time I will just put it in this folder. That's why I use the default location. Okay, and uncheck module because we don't need that. If you have that, that's fine, but it's not necessary. So uncheck it. Click finish. You don't see it, right? You are supposed to see your Java. I'm going to drag this a little bit. Okay, so if you don't see anything, you say, I created, where is it? You go to Windows, and then go to Show View. Okay, everybody, this is all in the video, but if you know this from this class, then you don't need to watch the video, right? Go to Project Explorer or Package Explorer. Yeah, let's do Package Explorer. Okay, so Windows, Show View, Package Explorer. And then you will see this is your project you just created. Everybody, do you all have this? Okay, if you have, I'm going to continue. Then click on that, expand it. Okay, and then you see there are two folders. One is your JRE system library, and that is the system, that is the library that's going to execute, okay, your program. This is SRC, that is source. The source files, that's what you write. Okay, right click on that source folder. src. Right click on it. Okay, and then go to new, and then go to package. Package is simply a folder. Again, it allows you to organize your files. Right now, you only have one package, but gradually you may have multiple packages. That means you organize your Java files into packages. Package is a logical unit of files that have a similar purposes. Okay, package. And give it a name. So I will just say practice. You can give it a meaningful name. Okay. Everybody is okay? Okay. Now we
I'm sorry,
have,
man.
yes, go ahead.
My computer froze. So we go to the SRC and
Mhm.
then
Right click,
and
go
then
to
new,
create a package.
create a package.
New, go to new and then create a package. Package. Okay.
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 And then just name it practice.
Yes. Any other questions, everybody?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Now right click on package, practice your package name, go to new and class. Finally, we are writing a class. Remember, a program is composed of one or more classes, right? So class. And let's give it a name. I will just say my first Java program. Your class name can only have letters, no underscore letters and digits, no spaces at all, everybody. And also,
What did you click to get there again? Sorry.
Right click on practice on your package name and go to class. Okay. Notice how I named my program. My first Java program. Anyone notice how I write these 4 words? Can you tell me what you notice about these 4 words?
No space.
No space, yes, and
First word, first letter of every word is capital S.
yes, and that is called the class case. Okay, so for your class name, it's always this convention. That means no space, that's for sure. But you capitalize the first character of each word. That's how you name your class. Okay, so if I say my program is called Hello World, then you will write it like this. Capitalize the initial letter of each word for your class, okay? And because every class right now for us, every class has a public static void main method. We check that so that we don't have to write it, okay? So check that. Finish. Questions? So now, yeah, go ahead.
My computer loaded up Eclipse late.
Okay, so for this example, I'm not going to check this this method. So finish. And now you see this is the class I just created, right? And this is the class I created before this one. And for this one, I checked the method. For this one, I didn't check. So that's the only difference. Any questions, everybody?
Nope, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So if, yeah, okay, I got that message. You follow along and we will look at your Mac. I think I sent out an email about how to download your Java onto your Mac, but we can look at that later. Okay, so if you didn't check that, what you can do is you can just type public static void main. Notice that these are 4 words, you must have space, right? You know that. And here it's a string. And notice string, what do you have to pay attention to string? What's different?
It's capitalized.
Yes, very good. The first character is capitalized, and that's a must, okay? Space, oops, space or no space, that's fine, okay? Space or no space, that's fine. And arcs, and close it. That's the method header, everybody. If you look at this, it's exactly the same, right? And this is no space, that's fine. And this one, I have a space, that's fine. So after the method header, what must you do? You must start the method. I'm going to put this here. You can put it here also. I'm putting it there so that you save 1 line. Okay, so that's the start. And this is when you press end, when you press enter, you see this is added for you. So that's the beginning. That's the ending of the method. Right now, you don't see any red marks. That means it's a compilable program. The syntax are correct. The syntax is correct right now. Okay. And if you look at it, it's the same as this one, right? And what do you call this, everybody?
Comment.
Comment, okay? It doesn't matter to the program. This is auto-generated method. So I'm going to just write what? Print out hello world to the screen, okay? That's what I'm going to do, right? So, and so here, let's type, okay? You have to pay attention. System, S has to be capitalized, system. And then dot, and then out. Okay, those are all words you must use. Print line, print ln, and then parenthesis. Everybody see what I have right now. System, S is uppercase, followed by a period. Out, that means you are putting it out onto the screen. Okay. Print, you know print, right? Print a line. So Java language is very similar to English, actually, if you think about it, very similar to English. So system, that means the system, right? Out, put it out. Print out, output. Print line, print a line. That means out, that means the screen, and print a line. What do we print? Print a line, it's a method. You must have this parenthesis after print line. And whatever you want to print must be within quotation marks. So let's have the 2 quotation marks. Okay. So what do we want to print? We want to print hello world. Here I come, right? Okay. And at the end of this statement, you must have a semicolon. Now it's perfect. Any questions? So if I don't have the semicolon, you can see there is a red mark here, red X, everybody, and it says syntax error, insert semicolon to complete block statements. So that means this is when it's not compilable. You cannot compile it. This actually, Eclipse automatically detects your syntax error. So as you're typing, it detects whether you have a syntax error. Right now, it detects that. So you put the semicolon there, it's good. Now, if you make this lowercase, it will say, I cannot recognize that. It doesn't exist. Okay, so uppercase, everybody, system, right? If you don't have the dot, that's a syntax error. And again, you have an error. So that's what syntax error is. Any questions?
So On mine, I'm getting an error that says syntax error, include bracket to complete class body, even though I did the same thing you did.
Are you sure you did the same thing I did?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to share your screen?
Yeah, let me figure out how to do that real quick.
So everybody, thank you so much for sharing this. Everybody, what's wrong? Do you see what is the problem?
Because it's on 8 instead of 9.
Does he need a second set of those squiggly brackets?
Not second set, but the closing square curly braces. Because you started the class, you have the starting one, you don't have the ending one. So the curly braces must pair, they must come in pairs. Okay.
So I have that, don't I? Or like right here and then here? Because
Well,
all I did was press enter and that's what it created.
so this is what I did, right? I wrote this line and this is exactly this. Oh, this is the hello program. This is the one that created that one. This is the one that I wrote, right? So I will just notice, this is what you do, everybody. Okay, if you completely rewrite this, let me rewrite this. I will show you how to write it. Okay, so I will write public class. Those are keywords, public class, and my second Java program. Another thing you must remember is this name here, this name must match this name. That means your class name must be exactly the same as your file class name. They must match. Okay, so that's my class. And so after that, you just press the two square brackets and separate them. This way, you will never miss one. So always, when you have an opening one, just type the ending one at the same time and press it. Okay, so that it goes to the next line. And now I will type this public static void main string, the array, okay, and square bracket ending, type the two and go down. So this way you can never forget one. And with this, you do the same thing. This is what I do. Type the two right there so that you don't forget, and just do string. Okay, this way you will not make that mistake. Do you all understand me, everybody? Get into that habit. Okay, so now I will do system.out.println. And what do we want to?
I have a question.
Yes.
So after you did,
Mia, give me 1 minute. Let me finish
Okay.
this. Okay, we wrote the second program, right? And at the end, always remember the semicolon. So we have two programs, Mia. Yes, your question.
I was just wondering when you got to string and then it shows it in purple. On mine, it's not showing purple.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So your string is purple. That's what you are
No,
saying.
I'm saying, or sorry, the ARGS, that part, it's not in purple for mine.
Oh, that's fine. I didn't put the S there. Maybe now it's purple. That's fine. That's just the name. You can actually, yeah, now it's purple. Just now I just used arc. Actually, this will work also. It's just not the traditional one. Oh, it's still purple, right? Okay. So now it's purple, right? Yeah. Mine is the same as yours.
No,
No?
mine's still black.
Okay, let me look at yours.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, if you look at this, remember we said your class name must match. If your file name is my second Java project, then your class name must be my second Java project. They must match. That's important. Okay, good. So now Mia, you can unshare. Okay, good. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. Any other questions? So now we all understand those are the several things you pay attention to. Let me just specify one more time. Your class name must match, okay, the file name. The file name here must match the class name here. And the opening curly brace must be matched with the ending curly brace, okay, for the class, for the method. You cannot put the matching one here. That doesn't work because the method belongs inside the class body. So you cannot put it there, okay? And the method must have the beginning curly brace and the ending curly brace. Each statement must end with a semicolon, and the quotation marks must match, okay? Beginning, ending, anything you want to print out will be enclosed in the quotation marks and curly parentheses, beginning, ending. And the space here doesn't matter. You can have a space, you don't have a space, but be consistent with your coding style. Let's run this program. To run the program, you simply click this, you see, run. Because it already compiled, everybody, you remember, it automatically compiles. If I do this, it doesn't compile. You cannot run because there is an error. So always just click, point your mouse pointer there, and you will see it tells you the error, okay? So this is not compilable, and so you cannot run. Now it's compiled. So it's already automatically compiled, and you can just run. So click on that button, everybody. And I will just check this, always save resources before launching so that it won't show up again, okay? Okay, in your console, you should see, right? Do you see your output, everybody? Your console might be somewhere different from mine.
Yes.
Okay, so here, we wrote the second program, right? That is that. That is what you just did. Go back to Hello World and run it. And Hello World, right? So that is how you write your very first program. Any questions, everybody? Oh, it says error, right? Error exists. Okay, the error is in your third project. You have.
Oh yeah, because I
You have a
was
my
following
third.
along.
Just delete the my third.
Okay.
Just cancel and delete my third. You will be good.
Will do.
Okay. Any other questions? This is Mitchell's, right?
Yes.
Mitchell, but I didn't want you to delete that statement though. I want you to keep the hello world there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll remake the hello world.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Okay, I want you to have the two statements in one program. There, this is who? Josu, Hosu, right? Oh, put it there. We didn't see it. Okay, yes, that's what I mean. This is what I wanted, everybody. This is good. It's correct. System.out.println, hello world, here I come, and then system.out.println, Hosu, Suza. That's correct. That's very good. Very good. If you look at the terminal, look at the console, you see the output, everybody. Okay, any questions about this? So we did the program, right? You just wrote a program, everybody. Congratulations. Give yourself a pat on your back, right? You just wrote a program and you added a statement to it. That's very good. Identifiers. Identifiers are the words a programmer uses in the program. Can be made up of letters, digits, and the underscore character. cannot begin with a digit, can. So your class name is an identifier. Your method name is an identifier. Remember, it cannot have a space, cannot contain spaces. That's why I keep saying your class name cannot have spaces. Okay, so Java is case sensitive. That means total are different identifiers. Uppercase, lowercase are different. Okay. By convention, programmers use different case styles for different types of identifiers, such as title case for class names. So we discussed this already. You capitalize the initial letter of each word. That is for your class names. Uppercase letters for constant. We haven't learned constant yet, but just know that you can have cases like this, right? All of them are uppercase. This is for constant. We will learn this in chapter 2. And camel case for variables and method names. Start with lowercase word and capitalize the initial letter of each word after. For example, street name, lowercase, uppercase, right? Lowercase, the very first word, and beginning with the second one, you capitalize the initial word. And first word, lowercase, capitalize the initial letter of the second word and third word, and so on. So that is the method name and the variable name. We are not talking about variables yet here, but we will do that in chapter 2. But here I'm just telling you the identifiers, the rules for identifiers. Okay. Sometimes the programmer chooses the identifiers such as Lincoln, and in our case, we chose my first program, my second program. Those are all identifiers. They are class names. Sometimes we are using another program's code. So we use the identifiers that he or she chose, such as print line, system, out. Those are identifiers chosen by the Java developer. They developed the Java language and they chose those names. Often we use special identifiers called reserved words that already have a predefined meaning in the language. A reserved word cannot be used in any other way, meaning it cannot be used as your chosen identifier name. For example, you cannot name your variable public, class, or static. Okay, that's very important. Why? Because these are really the reserved words. That's why you can see it is in purple, right? Package. That means it's reserved. You cannot name your class. You cannot do that. But let me ask you, can I name my class? Okay, let's look at this. So these are the reserved words. Which ones do we know? Let's see. We know which one. We know this one, right? We just use that one. We know static. We use that one. Public. We use that one. And the package. We use that one or also. And that's about it. I think void. So those are the keywords we just used. If you look at your program. Right? Okay, that's what keywords are. They are called reserved words. That means you cannot use it. To name your class, to use it as a variable, you cannot do that. Let me ask you, okay, can I use this as a class name? Oh, here. Can I use that as my class name?
I think so because it has uppercase, right?
Okay, that's John. Anyone else? Can I name my class as such?
I would say yes, but it would be very confusing, I guess, to use.
Yes, very good. A great answer. Both of you are correct. This is syntactically okay, but it's a bad class name because it doesn't tell you anything. Think about what our class names are. We said hello world. we are printing out hello world. We said my second Java program. That's the beginning. That people know, oh, you are just practicing. It's your second Java program. So this is not a good class name, but it's valid because it's not this word. What's the difference? Because it's capitalized. Okay, let me ask you this. I have to find the place to write. Is this a reserved word?
No.
No, why not?
Was the capitalization?
Yes, very good, because of the capitalization here. Oops. Okay, this is not a reserved word because reserved word is lowercase. And that tells you that Java is case sensitive, everybody. It's case sensitive. That's very important to remember. So can you have space in your identifier's name? Identifiers, can you have space?
No.
No. Can you have special characters like the @ sign, the pound sign in your identifiers?
No.
No, no, no. Okay, here are the rules. Can be made up of letters, digits, and the underscore character. Cannot begin with a digit, cannot contain spaces. Okay, let's look at which ones are the correct. Oh, it just keeps coming. So ignore the left half. Can you do that? Ignore the right half. Grade, is it valid? I think your peripheral vision will see the right-hand side no matter what. So let's just get it all out in the open. Grade is valid, right? Quiz grade is valid. Network connection is valid. Frame 2 is valid. Third test score is not valid because you cannot begin a variable name with 3, with a digit. Maximum is valid. Main capacity is valid. Student pound sign not valid because of the pound sign. Shelves 1 and 2 not valid because of the and sign, ampersand. Okay, so that's the variable names or identifiers. I think we will stop there, and we will continue next time. Let me stop my recording.